Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're looking at the Carenado PA-44 Seminole, made by the Piper Corporation. I don't know why they don't, probably for licensing issues, they can't use the brand name, so they just call it a PA-44. But this is basically a Piper Seminole. And it is a twin engine, obviously. Good multi-role aircraft. Now, I would say this is in direct competition with our already included in the game Beechcraft, not the Baron. Yeah, the Baron, yeah. But it's a little bit more antiquated with its like its Avionics package. It's not, like the glass cockpit like we have in the Baron, which I like because, once again, I find, at least for me with Flight Simulator, the aircraft that have the older style gauges and simpler GPSs actually get higher frame rates. Though it's not as much of an issue now that I've upgraded to the 2070 Super video card, but they still fly. It seems like they have a faster frame rate. Also, I prefer the simpler instruments and stuff like that. I don't know. It's probably just me, but I'm not a pilot. The glass gauges are cool, but it's kind of video gamey feeling, though. In real life, obviously, if I was a pilot, I would much rather have a glass cockpit. But this just kind of brings back a little bit more vintage style aviation, though. These airplanes are just fine. They're full, it's a full ILS package. But we have 5 different liveries to pick from. This is the first one. This is the gray stripe package. Let's look at the next one. And once again, I like to make the distinction that I am not a pilot. I do this for fun. I've been playing Flight Simulator since I was a kid. Been 30-plus years of flight simming, but I don't actually fly real aircraft. So I will not be able to tell you the differences between the in-game models or the real-world equivalents. But this is a great-looking aircraft, too. This one is the blue stripe paint scheme. I really like this one. And you notice the last one, I think, had a German number, and this one has a American call sign or tail number. Here we have like a bluish gray. Actually, it's pretty gray, isn't it? With a red stripe. Once again, nice livery. Here we have a green and gray striped pattern. Once again, the door's shut, so it's not as vibrant, but I do like this pattern too. Good looking. Once again, Carenado. Look at the rivets and stuff. I mean, like, the detail on these aircraft, and this one especially, is just phenomenal. Like, they really pay attention to every little detail of the model of the aircraft. The brakes, the ripples in the skin. Just astounding looking aircraft. Like, this is just great looking, and that seems to be the level of detail that you always get with Carenado. They just really care about what they're doing. And Carenado. Sorry, couldn't help it. There's the green. I hope someday we'll be able to change the hangar that we're in or have the aircraft out on the tarmac to look at it like these kind of views. But anyway, and this is the last scheme. It is like a brown and red. Same thing as the blue scheme, but with different colors. And it looks really good, too. So, gorgeous aircraft. The model, once again, is just beautiful. And let's get this thing up and flying so you can see how it does. I love this airplane. They did a great job with this one. Just a classic. All right, it's South Dakota. And I keep stopping my recorder, which is making me nuts because it means I'm going to have more editing to do. Anyway, look at how gorgeous that aircraft looks on the ground. Let's do it. So we're going to fly by what the GPS? So we're going to fly by Mount Rushmore and take a look at that. And, okay, so let's go ahead and start this airplane up. Once again, you can see the typical Carenado dashboard. It's just a generic airplane dashboard, but it's obviously customized for this aircraft, just like in real life. So let's go ahead and put that like that. We want the mixture, I think, how high are we up? Well, we're already like 5,000 feet, so we're going to put the mixture right about there. Guesstimating that that's actually rich. Like, this is probably where we would need to be running, but we can check it once we start the engines. So, once again, I'm not a pilot. I try to do things as realistically as possible. I learn things all the time. So, let's see. Yeah, the fin strobe, that's the beacon. We don't know what the outside air temperature is yet. We'll look at that in a little bit. What is that? Cabin heat. All right, so down here, We need to duck. I'm ducking in real life. Parking brakes are on. We'll turn the fuel pumps on. And once again, we have an iPad. Well, let's take a look at that too before we start the engine. We can set all kinds of settings. You can do static elements. We'll turn those on at the end of the flight when we stop. Have an external power source and a tow bar. I don't ever put the tow bar on. You can hide or show the pilot and the co-pilot. So we'll hide the co-pilot. So I'm by myself today. There is no pilot door, but we can open the co-pilot door. It's weird, though, that there's no trigger here. You can't just press. Oh, yeah, you can. Never mind. And then also same thing with the baggage compartment. It opens and closes. Let's open that. There you go. So if you're playing on air, you can do some role play. Have them open the baggage door and unload the baggage. You can pick the different selections for your aircraft. And there is like a checklist to make sure everything's done. That's pretty. Landing checklist. Cowl flaps set. I don't know. Now, once again, that's something that a pilot would know that I don't know. I've been landing and taking off with the cowls just at 0. But there's probably some setting that you want to do with the cowl flaps that, you know, and carb heat and stuff like that. It says carb heat off. I don't know what those things do. So that's something that I need to learn as time goes by. There is no next. Then we can turn the iPad off and get it off our screen. But that's there, which is pretty cool. Turn the battery on, alternator left and right. We're going to prime the left engine. And one more prime and we'll start it. Nope. Something's not right. I'm probably running no fuel. Yeah, we forgot to turn the gas tanks on. That would help. So we're going to turn the fuel pump off. Okay. And we will put those back. We're going to turn the fuel tanks on. There we go. Now there's a fuel flow. Turn the pumps back on. And let's go ahead and do this. Okay, those are running. I can't believe I still get followers on Twitch. I haven't streamed in like 3 months, and I'm still getting people coming on. And oops, probably help if I turn the mags on. Yep. Dar. Oh, it started. It went anyway. Okay. And now that it's running, we can shut these off. There's our panel light controls are underneath here, so you can turn lights on and off in the cabin. There's also a, thank you, John. There's also a handy-dandy nighttime cabin light. I don't know where my mouse is gone. It's not on the screen for some reason, but okay. Wow. That's going to help. Hang on a sec. Sometimes I'm doing these reviews and weird stuff happens. Okay, so we can turn this light on and off, and that's like our nighttime light. There's also like a bright light that comes on for nighttime use. That's pretty cool. But anyway, that's our. This lights up the at nighttime. This will light up the dashboard. Doesn't work there, but it gives it a nice blue light, so it's not blinding you. Vents and stuff up there. Nothing really to control up there. Let's go ahead and turn our avionics package on now. Unfortunately, I have it on auto, dude, so he's going to start giving directions as soon as we turn this on. But that's okay. Turn the strobe lights on for daytime. Recognition lights on.
Charlie uniform Tango traffic Alpha Golf Charlie 2 Lima Golf taking off runway 26 straight on departure.
We haven't checked the weather. We haven't even taxied. How can we be taking off? But let's check the weather first.
Kilo Charlie uniform Tango automated weather observation 2000 Zulu. Wind 267 at 18. Visibility 10. Sky condition few clouds at 500 feet, few clouds at 4,100 feet, few clouds at 11,900.
Okay, I'm terrible with the wind direction thing. I always get it. We want to go the opposite direction of 2.6, right? Because if the wind's coming from 2.6, change the altimeter. There we go. And we are going to take a look here, and we're going to. So if it's running 2.6, we want to actually take off runway 8, correct? And we're going to announce taxi.
Kilo Charlie uniform Tango traffic Alpha Golf Charlie 2 Lima Golf is taxiing to runway 8.
Hang on a second, folks. All right, so we'll look over the avionics package real quick. Once again, I'm not a pilot, so I do the best I can. We do have, if it's real cold outside, we have some controls for defrosting and stuff like that. I would not fly into conditions that would ice your plane, because this will help a little bit. But if you're flying into a cloud and it's like, and you're at the freezing point, you're gonna end up with ice on your cabin. It's not gonna stop it. But you can cabin heat. We have defrost and we have warmer air. You can open the vents. We can check our outside air temperature. I think, does this one have outside air temperature up on the dashboard? No, it doesn't. So we can turn that on, and you can always go to function. And right now it's 6 degrees outside. That's not too bad. We're not going to fly real high. So once again, old school GPS. It's not really that old, but got a GNS 530. Plenty of use. I use these all the time when I'm navigating for like on air. I just program in the airport that I'm going to, and then follow the GPS. Once again, I don't know, and here's where if you know, let me know. If you know, let me know. I don't know where the nav GPS switch is on here. If you want the autopilot to follow your GPS, I'm not sure how to switch that, because in some of the aircraft there's actually a little switch that you switch. On these, I don't know where that is. I don't see it. Maybe it's the flight director switch, but I don't know. So if you have any input on that, that would be a great help for me in general. Let's go ahead and get this airplane rolling. So I'm going to go turn off the parking brake, and we're going to go ahead and start taxiing the runway 8. We definitely picked the right runway for takeoff, because you can see the way that windsock is blowing is, yeah, totally down the runway this way. We would not be taking off from this angle. Right. So let's see, which way are we heading right now? We're heading, 20, whatever the 20 runway was. We need to be on the other end of the runway. So now this is a weird airport. It's one of those where you actually have to travel all the way down the runway on the runway to turn around and come back. So small airport, and that's how they operate. All right, so we're going to stop right here, and I'm going to go ahead and radio and say we're going to announce depart straight out.
Kilo Charlie Uniform Tango Traffic Alpha Golf Charlie 2 Lima Golf taking off runway 8 straight out departure.
And hopefully people around the airport know that means that you're going to drive down the runway. I think pilots flying out of here would already know that, most likely. So let's go ahead and roll down to the end of the runway. Once again, great aircraft. However, it does burn a lot of fuel because of the twin engines, and but it does, have a lot of power, and that's what you're looking for. It gets you, if you're flying at high altitudes and stuff, like where you're taking off or landing, like let's say at an airport that's 7,000 feet or above, you get double the power. So it's definitely, a big help to you. Plus, if there's a failure, you're safe. But it's a very nice airplane. It burns fuel like no tomorrow. I was flying a 100-mile flight, and I had just over half a tank of fuel. It was actually probably 200-mile flight. And, I mean, literally landed on fumes. 40 gallons to go 200 miles. I mean, that's not good. Not good economy. And that was, I had the lean pulled way back, and I was flying pretty lean, and it just sucks gas. So I would say this is, if you're playing the on-air, now look, the wind's blowing the other way at the other end of the runway. These windsocks are not working correctly. So it's hard to tell. That's the only problem with some of these airports. I find that the windsocks aren't accurate. I have to go by what they said. Once again, I don't know, because now I can't tell which way the wind's blowing. It's blowing this way down here and the other way down there. But I guess by the time we take off, we'll have a headwind, I hope. That's my great hope. We'll see. The plane will be fine. We got plenty of power. We can take off with a bit of a tailwind. It's not the end of the world. Do I have flaps down? Yes, the flaps are on the floor. That's what the latch looks like when it goes up and down. I don't know why you'd, maybe this is where you turn around. But we're just going to turn around here. Come on. Why is it having such a hard time turning? Turn. Using differential brakes to turn it. It's good to give the engines a little run up, right? All right, let's take off. Let's get out of here. And I've got the feathering pulled back just a little bit too. I don't want to hit, you know, I'm trying to keep it in the green. You can over rev it for a little bit, but now one thing you'll notice about this aircraft, as you're getting ready to lift off, and it just happened there, and we're blowing in the wind, so it does want to go back and forth on the runway. It really kind of throws itself around. The gear is up, and we're airborne. That was kind of an ugly takeoff. Definitely got pushed across the runway there at the liftoff. But this airplane does that. I've noticed that even as I take off, I usually apply a little bit of, I pull back on the stick a little bit, and that helps you lift as soon as you're ready. But it still tends to do that quite a bit, actually. If it's calm, it's not as bad, but we got 11-mile-an-hour winds, which it's not bad, but it's, you know, it's windy. And so we're going to cut back a little bit. Going to lean the engines out. You can see there with the, I think, I'm not sure what the EGT tells us aside from when you adjust your mix. I think you want the arrows to be up all the way. If it's got too much or too little, it'll drop. There we go. Check our altimeter. Yep, that's good. So we're going to do a wheel quick flyby. We have just outside of Custer Airport is the famous Mount Rushmore. So we'll do a real quick flyby if I can find it. I know it's up here to the north. The airport's behind us. Yeah, I can see there's the airport back there. And we definitely have a wind coming from the north. It's blowing us that far off course, like we're already slewed away from the airport a bit to the south. Got another aircraft in the area. It's funny, a lot of times when I record, I get people cruising around. This guy's definitely trying to get close. He's got bigger lights than his airplane. That was moving pretty quick. Looks like a Cessna shape, but it's probably generic for some airplane I don't own yet. Where is Mount Rushmore? It's straight ahead. Oh, yeah, I see it. So just above our nose and to the left, I'd say probably about 10 o'clock right now, you'll see a very white-looking peak, and I'm pretty sure that those are the faces on Mount Rushmore. We'll get closer and see. In fact, we'll fly right over it so you guys can take a look at it, and then we'll come back around and land at the airport. I'm going to go ahead and we'll actually put the autopilot on. Once again, like all Carenado autopilots, this one's a very simple one to use. We're just going to set our switch on. Oh, we should probably turn our landing lights on for safety. And we're going to turn our Autopilot on. And snap into our heading. And we'll also snap the altitude on there, and we'll just kind of hold altitude here. So now the airplane is in control. And quite a lot of turbulence today. So once again, thoughts about this airplane. I really do like this aircraft. And I fly it quite often. It's actually a lot of fun to fly, and it's, you know, obviously a cool vintage twin airplane, as vintage as they get in the game anyway. It's, you know, older avionics. It's still got, you know, somewhat modern. I mean, the Garmin's a pretty modern GPS, but it's, you know, 10, 15 years old, I think. Maybe even 20. I'm trying to think back on when these came out. But it's a good navigation tool. That might, yeah, that's Mount Rushmore. It's really washed out today because it's very sunny. We'll let our co-pilot do the work. Though I turned him off, didn't I? The invisible co-pilot. Yeah, that's Mount Rushmore. It's pretty washed out. And I'm going to back off our speed just a hair because we're really cooking. Yeah, that's the visitor center underneath us. And there's Mount Rushmore. And right there. There's the faces. Our forefathers. Whoa. The airplane's fighting me. It's trying to get back on course. Autopilot's like, no, you don't either. All right. Well, that was fun. So let's go ahead and turn our heading back west and head back towards the airport. And we'll land back at Custer. But that was pretty cool to see the National Monument. That's one of the things that I guess they updated, I think, in Flight Sim, what was it, like with the patch when they did the American upgrade. Roger that, Denver Center.
127.905 for 2 Lima Golf. Denver Center Alpha Golf Charlie 2 Lima Golf 6,500 feet.
Cool. By the way, there are charts on here that show you, like, when at certain altitudes what your horsepower is at these different. There you go. That's pretty neat. Nothing else really on the ceiling though, but it's just cool. Like, the details like that are just really neat. But you can see here, I have the fuel pretty much as best as it'll get, and I don't know where our fuel flow is. Looking for the meter. There may or may not be a meter here that shows us that. We have fuel pressure, but anyway. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. We almost crashed. Wow. Well, that was close. That's what we get for looking around the cabin while we're flying. And I'm going to range out on the GPS a little bit here and see if we can't see. Custer is to our left. We're going to go ahead and nearby airport list. Custer. Runway 8.
Kilo
think he... Did I do that? I think he did that by himself, but okay, I don't know. We're going to have to go all the way around these mountains. I don't really feel like climbing, so... But this is a really nice aircraft. Once again, a good cruising aircraft. And we picked a bumpy day to do this, but it is a nice model. One thing that bugged me when I first got in was this. Like, I thought, oh, that's really crappy, like, modeling there. Same thing over here. Then somebody was like, actually, when they do these aircraft, they put tape on the windows and pull it off and put it on to seal them. And, you know, sometimes it leaves a residue behind, and that actually is fairly realistic that they put that in there, because that's, you do see that on a lot of aircraft windows. However, the thing I don't like, and this is not necessarily Carenado's fault, this is probably a Microsoft thing, they move. So my windows are either really loose or they just happen to be moving. I think it's probably the second. Custer is off to our left over there. I think that's the airport. Right there, I think. Could be wrong about that, but we're going to have to fly a little further to get downwind, or to get to the base. Right there. Let's see. Is that it? No, I don't think that's it. I think maybe it's on the other side of those hills. Well, we'll figure it out. Once again, if you want to climb or descend using the autopilot, you just click on the vertical speed button, and then you can roll this up and down, depending on how fast you want to climb. You can see here, if we keep going straight, we're going to end up in that ridge, so we're going to start our turn here. I'm going to go right about, let's see, right about here. More. Let's see where the runway comes in. There we go. I'd say we're on base now, but we are, I think, pretty good distance from the airport still. I think so. Look here. Look here. We're going to start slowing. I'm going to enrich the mixture just a little bit, because we're going to descend and land. And I don't see the airport yet, but we're coming up on it. We're going to announce base.
Charlie Uniform Tango Traffic Alpha Golf Charlie 2 Lima Golf is on base runway 8.
Looking good. Go back down a little bit more. Okay, I think that's it right there. That's it. Flaps down 1 notch. We have 3 notches of flaps available. I'm thinking this is it right there. That looks like it. Let's see. Yeah, those are the hangers. All right, so let's go ahead and shut the autopilot off. Let me get our turn towards the runway. Shut it down even more. And hopefully our autopilot will call final, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, we're going to straighten out there. I think That's the runway right there. I don't want to turn too early because we'll end up gear down. Second level of flaps. Man, it is really bumpy up here today. Very turbulent. Yep, there it is. Okay. And final flaps down. Right? Was it 1? 2. Yeah, 3 levels. That's it. Sorry. I didn't want to give you false information, so I risked my life by pulling up the flaps. Whoa, we missed it. Okay. I don't know. This is going to be a dodgy landing. We're at the right altitude. We're a little bit low. Put the feather up all the way. And about, I think about 80. Yeah, 70 knots would be fine. We're at about 80 right now because we're below glide slope, and I'm going to, there's a lot of trees in the area, so we're going to kind of pop up. Yeah, we're way high. Oh my gosh. Terrible landing as we pass through the trees on the way down. Not too bad. Not too bad. Terrible approach. Decent landing, right? Get that nose wheel down. Man, we are blowing all over the place. Well, it was a windy day. That wasn't too bad, though. Not too bad. Flaps up. Not my most graceful landing, but not the best conditions either. So, and I think this is our exit right here. All right. So what do you guys think? I love this airplane. I think it's a nice airplane. It's a good-looking airplane. Definitely a nice flight model. Handles well. Fairly easy to fly. But there are a little bit of a challenge, too. It's not as easy as the default planes in the game. There's some challenge to it for sure. This airport's really nice, too. The Custer airport's well done. I love these add-on airports. I did reviews of them for a while, but nobody seemed to watch them, so I kind of gave up on that. I may continue to do some of them, but I'm definitely going to use them as we show off aircraft. But the airplanes seem to do okay review-wise, so I'm going to stop there and taxi forward a little bit. There's that. And let's go ahead and shut it down. So we're going to turn our lights off, turn the radio off. All that stuff's off. Turn the mags off. Oops, I didn't hit the right thing. Parking brake on. And voila. So I'm going to go ahead and put the static elements on, and you guys can see what that looks like. We have our external power. I don't think we need the tow bar, but it's there if you want it. So take a look outside here and look around the aircraft as we see the. So pretty cool. You can see it's plugged in and ready for flight. What a gorgeous airplane. Once again, just a phenomenal job from Carenado. And thanks once again for making a great aircraft. I love these airplanes, and they are a lot of fun. General aviation is my thing. You know, some guys like the jets, some guys like the heavy metal, but I prefer general aviation aircraft. They're just, you know, there's something classic about them, and they're practical to fly and fun. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I definitely had a fun time making it, and we're going to go ahead and do some more reviews here soon, but that was fun. Have a great night, guys. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help, and we will see you next time on Flight Sim 2020. Bye.